So, yo, what is going on? It's not really that uncommon on YouTube for someone to play through a game and give a bad review. They played through the game, they didn't like it, they give a bad review, it's whatever. It's a little more uncommon for someone to not beat a tutorial and then review the game, but it's extremely uncommon for someone to not beat the tutorial of a game and then go ahead and review the entire series. Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, that's exactly what we're taking a look at today. We're taking a look at a guy who could not beat the asylum demon in Dark Souls and said, you know what guys, I'm gonna go ahead and review the entire trilogy, and Bloodborne. Now this video is a bit on the older side, it was made before Sekiro came out, so I bet my ass if this video had came out a few years later, he would add Sekiro in there as well. The asylum demon got this dude so angry that he went ahead and reviewed 4 games, despite not beating the tutorial of a single one of them. One more thing before we get into today's video. I would like to give a brain damage warning and a soylent warning, because this video contains large amounts of brain damage and soylent.
For that purpose, Soylent has fit perfectly into my life. I actually looked forward to drinking Soylent every day.
Hey, what's up, masochists? We're going to do a quick review of the Dark Souls series, including its idiot stepbrother Bloodborne, and why...
Okay, there's 2 things I want to note. First of all, bro, you didn't even beat the tutorial of 1 of the 4 games you're reviewing, and you're gonna review all 4 of them? Second of all, is that a helicopter in the background? What the hell is that noise? I'm not even kidding, dude. Listen to the noise. And I thought my mic audio was bad. Honestly, I can't even determine what's worse, this dude's review or his audio. Now, because I have this dude's video in my editing software, I'm actually going to go ahead and remove the fucking Apache helicopter in the background, because I doubt you guys want to listen to that the entire video.
This series of games which has received critical acclaim is actually a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, we should totally ignore all the critics out there and players alike who hold this game to very high regard, and we should listen to this guy on YouTube instead who hasn't even beaten the tutorial of 1 of the 4 games. We should totally listen to the guy who cannot even get his audio sorted out so it doesn't sound like a mic in a 2009 Xbox game. I mean seriously, if you played MW2 or like MW3 back in the day on the 360, this guy's audio sounds exactly like that game's voice chat.
First of all, let's get the greatest argument out of the way that Dark Souls is a good game, and that's that being challenged is fun.
Well, it is if challenged correctly, and that's why Dark Souls games precisely are so loved by people. It's because it's challenging, but it always feels fair. When you die, it's almost always entirely your own fault. Maybe you tried to chug a flask at a time when an enemy was winding up an attack and you ended up getting hit. Maybe you were standing too close to the ledge and the dragon rider hit you off. I don't know, maybe you tried to scratch your nuts and the boss hit you. Point is, it's almost always your fault when you die in a Souls game, and you take that experience you have from that death and you use it in your next encounter. Or maybe instead you're like this guy and you upload a 3-minute YouTube video crying on the internet instead of learning from your mistakes. It's up to you though. But I mean, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, Dark Souls games are not that hard compared to some games out there, especially from like the NES era. The old Ninja Gaiden games were fucking hell to play through. Even a more recent game, Black Myth Wukong, when I played through that, I struggled way more than any Souls game. At least with Souls games, you can grind and make the experience easier. There's a lot of games out there that don't give you that option. And in Elden Ring's case, if you're stuck on a boss or something, you can go somewhere else and come back later.
I don't disagree with that notion, but Dark Souls is not a challenging game. It's just you getting teabagged by Bronn over and over and you saying that you like basketball.
Hey, yo, you don't have to project your fantasies, my guy. But if the game isn't hard, then how come you're quote-unquote getting teabagged so often? Really makes you think. And wait until you guys find out the very difficult boss he is getting teabagged by.
Making a game hard for the sake of being hard is like making a game require online play for the sake of being online.
Wow, that has to be the worst comparison I've ever heard in my life. And I've been intentionally seeking out bad game reviews for the past year, keep in mind. So apparently making a game hard for the sake of being hard is like locking a video game behind an internet connection. Because being forced to be online to play a video game is the same thing as unfair difficulty in a video game. Also, Dark Souls isn't just difficult for the sake of being difficult. It's a very fine-tuned and fair type of difficult. Well, at least most of the game is fair difficulty. This boss isn't fair. This boss is shit.
Oh, yeah!
Are you saying you love hamburgers? You bite it, you chew it, you throw it up, and then eat it again. And then throw it up and eat it again, and throw it up and eat it again.
Okay, bro, what the hell are these comparisons, dude? This guy had to be on something when he made this video, or maybe he's a troll or something, I don't know, dude. But shit, these are bad comparisons. So far, we've had these three wonderful comparisons. Dark Souls is like getting teabagged by LeBron. Dark Souls is like having to connect to the internet to play a video game. And Dark Souls is like eating a hamburger, throwing it up, eating it again, and then throwing it up. What the fuck? They need to just ban this dude from making any comparison ever again.
Getting killed over and over by sluggish bosses that are only slightly faster than your train with no wheels on it of a character is not fun. The controls here are the biggest joke. This guy drives like a boat on a trailer. Any attempt to play this game in a pick-up-and-play manner is going to be a huge waste of your time.
Wow, a point that finally makes somewhat sense. Now, I don't agree with the point, but at least it makes sense. Dark Souls is not a casual pick-up-and-play game. He's not wrong about that. Dark Souls is not a game that you're going to pick up and beat in an evening. It's a game that you're going to have to focus on, you're going to have to put time and strategy into. It's not really the game you want to pick up after an 8-hour shift. He's not wrong about that. But I don't think that makes the game bad, it's just not for everyone. Not every single game needs to be for everyone. I will never enjoy mill sims. I would rather step on a rusty skewer than ever play some sort of mill sim. But that doesn't mean that mill sims are inherently bad.
Don't bother trying multiplayer because apparently it involves some sort of hurt yourself and then wash it with disinfectant soap. I never got it to work, frankly.
Well, judging on the gameplay, that's probably because you never got past the asylum demon, but, you know, there's something called research that you could do, but I do agree that Dark Souls' co-op is kind of needlessly complicated. Seamless co-op would be awesome, and there's mods out there for that, but I know not everyone likes using mods.
And if you're watching the video here, you'll notice I'm in the beginning stages, and that's because I never got past it.
Oh, I got AIDS again.
Well, today I learned you don't even have to consume 1% of a piece of media to review it. So I just watched the first 30 seconds of the new Spider-Man, and I can confidently say it's a pile of dog shit.
Let me make a hideous character who isn't really proportioned correctly, put on some monk robes and a monk haircut, and go fight dragons? Is there a story here?
Didn't you just say this less than 30 seconds ago?
And if you're watching the video here, you'll notice I'm in the beginning stages. And that's because I never got past it.
So, you didn't even make it through the tutorial of the game, but you expect to know the story? Have you tried playing the game yet?
Not to mention that they've now spawned a number of sequels that are just reskins of a poorly made game in the first place.
That feeling when you just spent the past hour editing a video just to find out at the very end that the guy's trolling? Whatever, man, I spent too long on this to chuck it away. You can leave a dislike if this angers you. Well, now that we know that he's trolling, there's really no point in continuing on. That's an hour of my life that I'll never get back. Whoop-de-fucking-do, dude. Well, that's why you actually watch through the entire video before making a response to it and not 75% of it. Anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by, and peace.